Hello, hello, Scorpio. Welcome to your September 2018 overview reading. This is good for you if you're a sun, moon, or rising Scorpio. And as I am pulling all of these oracle cards for you, go ahead and check in with your body, see how you're doing today, if anything needs to come up. If you have any specific questions, just kind of get a feel for what type of information you'd like to have come up in this reading. All right, and then don't forget, if you're curious about which decks I'm using, all of them are listed out in the description box. And if you want to know how to work with me one-on-one, all of that is listed out in the description box. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Take a deep breath into the diaphragm. Okay, first thing for Scorpio, persuade your inhibitions. Okay, so wherever you're feeling resistance, it might be one of those things where you're going to have to push yourself a little bit in September. Break past your barriers, your belief systems, the parts of you that would like to keep you safe and small and complacent. Because while fear and resistance are tools, right? They're not there for no reason. It's one of those things that you can achieve much greater things when you push past that. So just keep all of this in mind as you're walking through the month of September. And then we have experience, acknowledge what it took, be patient with new endeavors. Some paths need time to unfold. It doesn't matter what time you arrive to the party, the future is waiting and you're ready now. Okay, so if there's a specific phrase there that resonated with you, then that's your intuition that's like, hey, pay attention to that. So I would say the patience piece is something that's been coming up for Scorpios quite a bit. It could be patience with yourself, patience with a relationship, patience with any number of things. And then the animal spirit card, we have camel. This also has to do with patience and endurance. Think about how much camels have to endure. Now, I want to make the distinction. Just because you can endure a lot does not mean that you have to. It does not mean that you have to put up with things, right? There's a difference between being patient and enduring some discomfort, but it's also that can be out of balance as well. That can also be detrimental to you healing and having healthy relationships. Okay, so this is 11 relationships affirmators card. It's good for you if you're looking for partnership or not, if you're already in partnership, or if you are just interested in more connections. So we have boundless love. Today, I'll open my eyes a little wider and walk a little taller, noticing that the world around me is filled with tiny miracles. With this in mind, it's easy to fall in love over and over again with everything from the honeybees to neon signs. And while I'm feeling this inspired and this in love, everything else sort of falls into place. So this is about being present. Okay, kind of seeing the miracles in everything is part of how you can cultivate more. Okay, now if you've been with me for a while, then you might recognize this spread I did a few months ago. It's the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. We start with resources and work our way up to the top of the pyramid, and this is more idyllic. This is the resources that you need to have. So it becomes less and less essential as we move up. So let's go ahead and see what's coming up for resources. We have judgment, final decisions being made around what it is that you are giving. Okay, so, okay, it's interesting. I've never ever noticed this on this card, so I'm going to bring it up with you guys. Do you see right here, it says forgive. And so that is, I swear to you, I've been doing these readings with this deck and I have not seen that yet. So you're witnessing me realize this live on camera. I think that that's big for you in this case, around resources, around the parts of you that are feeling a lack, are feeling picked on, are feeling like you can't do it or you don't have the confidence. Forgive not only that part of yourself for doing its job, okay? Because all parts of yourself have a function, even if they are dysfunctional now. And forgive yourself as well as where that original injury occurred. Those are the two parts of forgiveness so that you can kind of free yourself of whatever it is that is causing resistance with you manifesting the resources, getting the money, the home, the whatever it is. That's part of the puzzle for you. So that is important information. Let me see what else is coming up. We have 5 of Feathers. So there's like some sleepy daydream energy to this. I'm going to clarify this one. Honestly, I think you're walking through some belief systems around resources in September. So 5 of Feathers, the clarifier for that is the 4 of Wands. So you have to, this is part of the deconstruction process. Remember that I was using the analogy recently where when you have a belief system in place, you can think of it like you have a finite amount of land you have a finite amount of property. And one of the things that you have there is a house that's already built, which is the belief system. Now, you can't just build a house on top of one that has a poor foundation, that has broken windows and crappy shutters. It's one of those things that you want to demolish the old house and rebuild. So whatever it is that you're doing with this forgiveness process, releasing and reconstructing, you have to get rid of something first so that you have space to build. And that's what the 5 of Feathers is reflecting. Then we also have 8 of Feathers. So feeling confined. Remember that part of this is within your mind. The 8 of Feathers is a box that you put yourself in where you can't quite see outside of yourself or outside of the situation, and it's purely perception based. It is not something that is actually happening. It's a restriction or limitation you have created for yourself. And then we also have the 9 of Feathers, so a lot of fear coming up. This is where you're rebuilding. This has to go. You have to recognize that the fear, that's the 9 of Feathers, the fear, the limitations that you're putting around yourself are constructed by you. I want to be clear that there's a big difference between, having some circumstances that are outside of your control and then continuing to cling to that unfair situation or circumstance. Like bad things happen all the time and good things happen all the time. So it's kind of about opening yourself up a little bit to all of the possibilities, because I can guarantee you haven't thought about all of them yet. And so it really is about jumping to those knee-jerk reactions of wanting to only focus on what it is that's going wrong or where the lack is that could be getting in your way. All right, so that is kind of the block in the flow, is the fear and only focusing on what could go wrong rather than what could go right. In the area of relationships, this is romantic, platonic, familial relationships. First thing we have coming up is 4 of Rocks. So this is about being conservative with your energy, making sure that you are not over investing in relationships that are unhealthy, especially friendships. If there's a friendship that's depleting, you don't have to give your blood, sweat, and tears to that person. It's something where you can hold back from people where you feel like there is some toxicity sitting. So do your best not to judge yourself around that. It is about that forgiveness piece of being okay with who you are, and even if you make a bad decision, forgive yourself, and then you want to move forward in a way that's going to get you back on track rather than dwelling on being a human being. Okay, so then we also have temperance, balance, equilibrium. I think that you're really able to see what's working for you rather than just what the extreme versions of the situations are. And then third card, we have Six of Shells. This is, in part, it is a soulmate card. It is that, you know, connections and karmic relationships, so you might see some of that coming up. And I'm going to clarify the Six of Shells for you guys. Five of Cups. So I think you might actually be scared or resistant to the Six of Cups. It might just be something that you're scared or worried about. And I don't know that there's a necessity for that. I'm actually going to pull one more clarifier because this is coming up as your anxiety and your fear. So let me see what's actually going on with the Six of Cups. We have the Hanged Man. So this is more about your patterns and your habits than anything else. It's not actually about this person, whoever the Six of Cups is representing here. It has more to do with you, your habits, your jumping to conclusions than anything else that's actually happening there. So mindset is probably going to be really big for you this month. I think there's a lot of work to be done around the lens that you're seeing the world through, and it starts here. It actually starts with resources, and then it's kind of bleeding into other areas. This fear picture is. So just remember that it doesn't have to be this way. It's totally something you can work through. And then up here, this is ambition, goals, career. We have the Sun, and this looks super vibrant, exciting, just like happy, happy, joy, joy, getting the things that you want professionally or ambition-wise. And then we also have the Seven of Feathers. So there's kind of going to be some sorting being done around your ambitions. It might be kind of reconstructing your goals and focusing on what do you want, what do you need, what feels good, what do you have fun with, what do you not have fun with, and all of that stuff. Just really looking at pleasures and pains, and then how you're working through all of those and selecting things that really work for you. Okay, and then self-actualization, we have the Moon. It looks like you're not quite at a point where you're going to be feeling totally solidified with your next steps. You know, there's kind of that confusion energy that's coming through. And so what you want to keep in mind is that this entire month, be skeptical of your expectations in situations, especially in relationships. Again, being patient and persuading your inhibitions is going to serve you really, really well. Okay, now I'm going to get into the timeline. Remember, we have first, second, third, and fourth quarter. That'll be where you end up at the end of September. So first quarter, this is where you start off the month. We have the Sun, vitality, joy. I think this has to do with your personal projects, your work, your profession, your career, whatever it is that you're striving for. I think that September kind of starts off on a really positive note, and it's just, this is where the connection is really happening with these two things. So it looks good. It's just about kind of having that moment of play. Let me see what the second quarter is, because that's also going to give some insight. We have Nine of Crystals, security, abundance. This is where you're having two things happen. I think you actually do have a lot working in terms of resources, but again, it's the fear pictures of what if the well dries up? What if this stops going my way? What if it doesn't work out? And if it's not happening right in this moment, it's probably not worth as much energy as you're giving it. And so that's something that you can carry with you, is focusing in on the security, consistency, and abundance that you do have rather than the lack, and that's going to help you construct even more and build even more. Now, third quarter for Scorpio, we have the Page of Acorns, discovery, enthusiasm. Remember that clarity comes from action, not thought, so don't be afraid to work through things and really start to explore new ways of being in the world, and new ways of holding a perspective, new ways of utilizing this mindset that you have down here. You're rebuilding all of this. It's kind of like the darkest before the dawn in terms of your mindset, because this is fear picture, fear picture, fear picture, not enough, not enough, not enough. All of that stuff is coming up, and I don't think it's anything that's happening inside your environment. It's literally a habit. It is a mindset, because then we also see this kind of theme of expecting the worst, and it's about flipping that upside down purely through healthy skepticism of your own belief systems. And then wrapping up the month of September, we have Five of Acorns, challenge, growth. This is you challenging yourself around all of these situations and opportunities. You have to change the way that you look at things. So remember, there's always opportunities to grow everywhere we look. And this could, I want to be clear, that could also be fear of trust, like the challenge in trusting something or someone fully. Maybe it's kind of like, no, I have to worry about it more in order to stay in control. And we know that's not really how it works. So, just remember that you have the opportunity to adjust that this month. Now we're going to do a 3-card pick. Go ahead, select a card. You can select one after I pick it. Whatever feels right for you. Okay. First card, the Lovers, connection, coming back together. This is collaboration and also working together, making a decision. It's kind of like your co-creator, this person is available to you. So use this to your advantage. I think that there's someone who is willing to help, who is willing to hear you, who is willing to work with you. And this person can actually be a way that you rebuild this belief system, because we're all mirrors for each other. And so maybe this person might be someone that is really challenging your belief system about the worst case scenario. So make sure you're giving people the benefit of the doubt. And card number 2, we have temperance, balance, equilibrium. Again, it's sitting on top of this temperance card. And so it's just about give and take, like what you're putting out into the world and then seeing what comes back. And remember that the more you are around other people, the more information you're going to have about the quality of person that you're attracting. If you're attracting a pattern of people, it's worthwhile looking at yourself and saying, what's going on in here? Because it doesn't mean you're going to be an identical replica of that person, but they might be fitting a certain mold that works with you. And so it's kind of like, if there's something that's bothering you, if there's something that's irritating you about what you have showing up in your life, looking at yourself will give you clues as to what's happening so that you can make the necessary adjustments to flip that around. Okay, now third card, we have the Wheel of Fortune. Be okay with the unknown. Be okay with not knowing exactly what's happening next. This is actually helping you, because if you don't know what's coming next, then it's kind of like all that time you spent with your expectations isn't really what's happening. There's still a lot of unknowns, so give that space to breathe. In the same breath, if you are embodying your expectations, then remember that you are going to behave in a way that's going to evoke that response from others. So you do have responsibility over your experience in a lot of ways. And the more responsibility you take for your life, the easier it becomes, and it is going to help you feel more empowered over taking control of, again, the quality of experience that you have. So don't sell yourself short when it comes to that. You do have a lot of power over these things, so let yourself breathe into that. All right, so that is all that I have for you today. I hope you've enjoyed this reading. Thank you so much for joining me. Don't forget, if you want to work with me, all the links are in the description box. You're welcome to check out my website, onyxhealing.com. And until next time, have a lovely, lovely September, everybody, and I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.